What kind of hobby is it that when you're doing it, you wish you weren't, and when you're not doing it, you crave it? If you're a PMO user, you probably believe, okay, I'm getting some kind of enjoyment out of porn. But if you actually become conscious when you're watching it, when you're flickering through millions of tabs at once, when you're going through this disgusting ritual, if you actually pause and look at what you're doing with a clear mind, you'll really, really realise, I wish I weren't doing this. Now, if you stopped for, say, a day, 2 days, 3 days, you will crave it. And that's why you continue to use it again and again and again. Go through the cycle of arousal and excitement beforehand, then doing the deed, and then remorse, guilt and shame afterwards. This is the cycle of all addiction. Every addiction, when you're doing it, you kind of wish you weren't, and when you're not doing it, you crave it. The reason for this is actually somewhat simple, but a little bit difficult to explain. This is the bro science explanation of what's going on when you use PMO. So, as we can see, when you first use PMO, you get knocked the fuck down. This is your dopamine, right? This is your, like, how you feel, right? Let's say. So you go down when you use PMO. And then when you use PMO, right, you go, this is your first session, that. And then throughout the session, you're flittering between tabs, right? And you're constantly doing this. Now, this is also what occurs over time. The PMO doesn't actually boost you up. It just takes you below par. And then each session makes you go a bit higher and a bit higher and a bit higher. This is akin to if you were to bang your head against the wall, the peace that you gain. This is you banging your head against the wall, aka using PMO. Right? Now, if you were to stop banging your head against the wall, you'd go up. But you're not going above baseline. You're not going above par. All this is a cessation of aggravation. It's when you use PMO, you're just stopping that fucking stressful feeling of craving. Hope you can really see what's going on here. PMO addicts think they're getting pleasure, but really they're just getting relief from craving. The craving was caused by the PMO in the first place. So it's really illogical. The real pleasure doesn't come from the PMO itself. It comes from the relief of the god-awful craving. So, in order to stop PMO, if it's possible to stop the craving, there's no addiction. The way you stop the craving is using the EasyPeasy method. I've explained how this works in other videos. Go watch my video about how the EasyPeasy method works, or just go in the description and read the PDF. It's a free PDF, open source, no one's making money from it, I'm not making money from it. Read it all the way through. It will teach you how to get rid of craving easily without willpower. What I want you to understand from this video though is that there's no pleasure here, because what kind of hobby is it? What kind of pleasure is it where if you're doing it you wish you weren't? Because there's no pleasure. When you're doing it, you wish you weren't. You know you're a mug when you're using it because you know, I'm actually feeling below par. You'd feel better if you were just at peace. If you were literally just sat there at peace, you'd feel better than if you were using PMO. The reason why that's the case is because PMO is not a genuine pleasure. It takes you below par and then brings you up a little bit. And the way you can prove this to yourself is by using and then becoming conscious of yourself in the moment. It will be painful because you'll realise you're below par and you'll realise you're doing something that's really, really pointless. But at least that will motivate you to think, okay, maybe what this brown guy on the computer is what he's saying is true. Maybe I should read the EasyPeasy method. I guarantee you it's the best thing you'll ever do in your whole entire fucking life. It was for me anyway. Read it, please.